Well, hello, Mavericks. This is Rob Reinhold. It is April 24th. I cannot believe we are already pretty much through the first 4 months of the year. But let's look into the market. If you remember over the weekend in the currency room, we said, hey, look, there's great weeks of trading and there's crappy weeks of trading. We said this is very highly likely to be a crappy week of trading. And at least on Monday, we were absolutely right. So it's a very quiet day. The cryptos that have been moving fantastically, they went nowhere. They're simply back into the trading range. And the only thing that's really happening is the European currencies have stayed strong. And we'll take a look at the numbers. Not that strong. But for the day, the S&P up 0.09%. That's nothing. Look at cryptos down 0.2%. That's the smallest move I have ever seen on a daily basis on the crypto basket. Gold a little bit up, oil a little bit up, but that's about it. And when we come in and we take a look at these charts, look, these last couple days have been really boring. In this last 7 days, you can see we haven't really gone anywhere. So we're up at these levels. We said there's going to be resistance here. We said we're going to churn here. That's exactly what we're seeing. This here is the 10-year government bond. I want to take a look at this since there's really nothing else going on. We did actually have a pretty big down day, down 2.2% in the bond market. But as you can see here, we're still in the middle of a range. We're just hanging around as 3.5%. Nothing's moving. Cryptos have fallen right back into the channel. Nothing's going on at this point. This is literally why we told everyone over this last weekend to trade less, not more. And look, it's just not a great time in the markets. Markets have cyclicality. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're trending, sometimes they're choppy, and sometimes they're literally dead. This is one of those times where there's just not a lot going on. We take a look at cryptos, we can see that Litecoin was actually up on the day. One of the things that we have seen is that Litecoin has severely underperformed everything else. And when you take a look at cryptos, there's maybe one trade that's interesting in the fact that look at the underperformance in Litecoin compared to Bitcoin. Now, typically, Litecoin and Bitcoin are about 85 to 90% correlated, so they usually move together. They become massively uncorrelated. So whenever two correlated assets become uncorrelated, the question is, one went up too much or one went down too much. Which one is it? And there's going to be reversion to the mean where they meet. So if you are looking at a crypto trade, I think the most interesting thing here is, does Litecoin recover somewhat and catch up to where Bitcoin and Ethereum have done as far as performance goes? I think that's an okay trade. I don't love the trade. I just rather have you sit out of cryptos altogether. Next up, here's the daily return on Forex. We called for the European currencies to stay strong, and they have. We liked Euro the best, and it was the strongest today along with the Kiwi. The call we made was that the Aussie and Kiwi were actually flip-flopping. 1 week, one would be strong, one would be weak. Last week, the Kiwi was very weak, and the Aussie was actually up a little bit. We said this week is likely to reverse. So the currency cross we liked was Euro-Aussie. That was our favorite currency cross for the week. Now today, the yen and the dollar were a little bit weaker than I expected. I thought these are both going to be fairly flat today, but neither of them moved anywhere out of any ranges. So here we are. We're at a +2 on the market outlook. We are above moving averages. Everything is generally bullish, but just taking a break right now. There was nothing on the schedule today, and we now start to get to a point where there's a little bit of news coming out. Tomorrow evening, we have CPI out of Aussie. This is the one I think is the biggest report for the week, along with a report on Friday we'll talk about. But this is one, if you want to start taking a look at aggressive trades in Aussie, I think this is the catalyst that's going to give you that opportunity. Nothing on Wednesday. We have the Bank of Japan on Thursday night. They are going to be meeting and announcing their policy. I don't see there being really any big change. The new governor's come in. He's made a couple changes, but for the most part, they're sticking with what they've done for years. The other big bit of news this week is going to be the U.S. Core PCE Price Index. That is on Friday. Another reason why, when you look at the schedule, it's just not looking like a great week. So let's take a look at the currencies, see exactly where we are at the moment. Let's start out with the cryptos. If we take a look at a 4-hour chart, we can see that right now the pressure is to the downside. There's no question that the momentum is to the downside. We are now low basing here on Bitcoin. When we take a look at the daily chart, you can see that we are just down back in the range. We are back in the range. There's really nothing special here about this chart. I expect at some point it'll bounce off the bottom of that range and we might have a little bit of a run. But the 4-hour chart is telling us it's not right now. It is absolutely not right now the time for a run. We go to Bitcoin Cash, same thing. Descending triangle pattern. The next moves in crypto are likely to be lower. We take a look at Ethereum. Again, we're seeing lower prices here in the short term. The only one that is bucking the trend is Litecoin. Like I said, if you're just dying to make a crypto trade and that's the one you're going to do, okay, maybe this is the trade. But look, it's not a great setup. It is so mildly bullish that it's hardly bullish at all. It's basically has stopped going lower, which is what is making it bullish. I don't like the trade at all. I'd rather see you sit on your hands and come back from this better trading. Let's jump over into the Forex market. Here's the dollar, and here we are. We've identified this channel in the dollar. We're smack dab in the middle. Short term, okay, dollar is like flat. Maybe it goes down a little bit more. Maybe it doesn't. I don't like the trading whatsoever. I am completely uninterested in the dollar. I take a look over here at the yen. We've got the yen is now between its recent highs and lows. Which way is the yen going to go? I think every day it's a little bit different. Right now, we're seeing we are getting a little bit of buying in off of this recent decline. But again, I'm not going to stick my neck out for this whatsoever. We come over here to the euro currencies, and this is where we saw the good moves. We saw the good moves. We saw the nice breakouts. And we got some nice candles after that. We are now getting some reversal signs here that this run is likely over. So if you didn't catch this run, don't try to catch it right now. You have to let this thing either pull back or base. We're seeing the same thing with the Swiss franc. We had a nice breakout, a nice run. It's right now, it's showing it's a little bit exhausted. I mean, look at this relative strength. It reached 85. Let it pull back. Just let it pull back. So the euro currencies looked great a day ago. They look a little bit overextended. This is the pound. Of all of them, it looks the least overextended. But look, it's not a great trade. Coming over here to the CAD. CAD is weak. No question it's weak. But we're just coming down to the bottom end of its range. We would expect there to possibly be a bounce here. This is where support is. It doesn't mean it has to bounce here. But I'm expecting the CAD to bounce here. I don't buy bounces off of levels like this. I wait for them to bounce and then I short the bounces that they have. Take a look at Aussie. Now, I said that Aussie was likely to be the best short for the week. Look at this. This is, okay, it's a short, but that's not a great short. That's hardly moving whatsoever. So yes, I'm still bearish on the Aussie, but in the context of its whole range, just mildly bearish. And the Kiwi had a little bounce back today. I would be more of a shorter of this Kiwi bounce than anything, but it's not over yet. The Kiwi bounce is not over. Maybe we get a couple more candles. We hit up against this downtrend line. But until then, again, I am just not looking at anything. So frankly, nothing looks good. Looking at our velocity score, the euro and Swiss franc continue to stay long. Aussie and CAD are the only things that look interesting to the short side, but that's it. Everything else is in the middle. I'm going to recommend the same thing I did over the weekend. You trade less, not more. Until things pick up. Look, maybe Aussie CPI will get things moving. Until then, I don't see one reason at all to make any sort of trade. So I'm not even going to go into any potential trades because I don't want to give anyone any potential ideas because I think it's best to sit on your hand and wait. We're just going to wrap it up then. Equities are going nowhere. FX looks like low volatility this week. Trade less, not more. This is a week to not waste any of your capital chasing after little moves, because next week is going to be a great trading week. It's the first week of the month, lots of news, lots of things going on. Just wait. Keep your capital, keep your powder dry, and we'll jump on it next week. I wish I could say something different, but remember, at Maverick, we have a saying, trade the market in front of you. This is the market in front of us. Don't beat your head against it. Just accept it. We'll come back next week and we'll make some pips. That's it for me. Thanks, everyone.